From being the first UFC flyweight champion,
Demetrious Johnson, man, he is a tremendous athlete. Whether people find me as the greatest ever,
Ain't
I don't
Demetrious
mind
like
sharing that debate with a guy
5'3"?
like Demetrious Johnson.
with 11 successful title defenses,
He's dealing with this incredibly long win streak. He's defended his title more than any other champion ever.
to an MMA legend who Dana White himself basically forced to retire.
He has the lowest
Why?
selling pay-per-view in the history of the UFC.
Demetrious Johnson
I mean, he is. I mean, a lot of people don't like watching little fights.
was 1 in a million.
But I ain't never
as with
really
all things, his era
watched
came to an
Demetrious
end,
fight
but
before.
not exactly how he or anyone else would have expected. The longtime and dominant champion should have retired in the UFC octagon and nowhere else. He fought there for 7 years, and he belonged in the world-leading MMA promotion. But instead of putting his gloves down in the UFC octagon, he was crossed over and forced to leave the United States and
Why?
travel all the way to Asia.
Ship is sailed.
Why?
And I'm just shooting an arrow like,
Why? Why do you feel that way?
Sem's over it.
The UFC had other plans, and they did not include Demetrious
11
Johnson.
title
Despite his fighting
defenses and you
success,
over
things
it?
weren't looking good behind the scenes. It's no secret that Dana White never liked him at all. Even more, he
Why?
tried to completely erase him. But why? Well, this is the story of Demetrious Johnson.
That's the best fighter on the planet Earth right there.
Them pay-per-views not selling, man. Dana White want that money, Dana White don't care about none of that. Nah, that's
What
crazy,
makes a fighter
bro.
truly the
What?
greatest of all time? Is it the peak of physical fitness, a way of dominating opponents, a shelf full of trophies and belts, the
All of the
ability
above,
to
to
return
be
to
honest.
winning after harsh defeats, or the perfection of martial arts skills? The answer is all of the above, and one of the best examples of greatness is Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. The biggest fight of his career was not one in the octagon, but the one against his own boss and owner of the UFC.
Dana White never calls me when I was in UFC. He called me, goes, "You dumbass, you just ruined this whole thing we're trying to set up for you, blah, blah."
The sport in general, it's kind of not fair when you look at it. Like, you look at Demetrious Johnson, is probably right now the best
Ever.
The best ever, yeah, I agree. Confidence and skills. What better guy than this?
Yeah.
But even a man like this could not avoid
I ain't gonna lie. George St. Pierre saying you the best ever? I got George St. Pierre in my top 3. Let me know y'all top 5 rankings of UFC fighters. I gotta know. Because y'all gonna make me mad with y'all top 5, but go ahead and drop your
Dana
top
White's
5.
displeasure. The president has always been bad at hiding his dislike for someone. Demetrious, on the other hand, never wanted to hide his displeasure.
Demetrious Johnson, guy sitting on the cusp of breaking the all-time
This nigga
record,
Dana
could
White.
be the greatest ever, and then all of a sudden it sounds like he's unhappy. What's the latest there? And
I'm not thrilled with Demetrious Johnson.
In the fastest growing sport in the world, full of prospects and hardworking
Dana White,
fighters,
boy.
one has to dedicate himself, bleed, and sweat countless times outside the battlefield to reach greatness. Most start but don't finish at the top in this bloody sport that takes more than it gives. The path of a martial artist is lonely, selfish, stressful, and painful, and only one injury could destroy everything you've worked
Damn,
for.
Kyle.
Either that, or you could have a hot-headed boss who wants things to go his way, or they won't go anywhere at all. The last thing a UFC
Dana not
fighter
playing with
needs is to
nobody.
hear Dana White is unhappy with him, especially when the fighter is pitch perfect on the field, like Demetrious. Safe to say, this was one of the most corrupt moves by the UFC president ever. UFC has been the target of controversy for years, but this case is truly messed up. However, in order for you to understand what happened in this incredibly dramatic and unfair event, it's best to start with the story of Demetrious Johnson's greatness. Getting into the battlefield to win is not the only fight, but the genuine hell is behind the curtain in the sweaty gym. Training multiple times daily with family and work commitments can be mentally and physically exhausting. Following a strict diet and practicing different martial arts with strength and conditioning training will leave you helplessly looking for a reason to keep going every morning. All this work separates the fighter from the champion, but separating the champion from the greatest of all time is something completely different.
A lot of people in the world have called me or named me as the pound-for-pound greatest fighter in the world. 1 fight or 2 fights or 15 fights. I think it's a consistency of me showing my skill
Y'all think he the
set
pound for
against
pound?
all types
I
of
don't know,
opponents.
bro. I got John Jones. I got John Jones number 1 right now, pound for pound all the time. That's just me,
Demetrious
though.
Johnson captured the UFC flyweight belt in 2012, and from this point onwards, the quality work of the reigning champion continued to reach its peak. Mighty Mouse was on a winning rampage, with incredible title defenses. John Dodson, Ian McCall, Joseph Benavidez, Henry Cejudo, Ali Bagatunov,
Joseph
Tim
Miller.
Elliott, John Moraga, Chris Carriosa,
Dang!
Fiore Horiguchi, Wilson Reyes, and Ray Borg were the names that
He beat all them niggas? Okay, he might be number 1. Okay.
were the names that decorate Demetrious Johnson's highlight reel. With some, he shared the cage not once, but twice. What could go wrong with this kind of resume, right? Well, wait and you will see. 4 decisions, 5 submissions, and 2 knockouts resulted in a 5-year successfully active reign of the flyweight king. Johnson was so constant and, dare we say, boring, with victories that after a few defenses, it was known in advance that his hand would be raised after every subsequent match. Imagine being so dominant that some people see you as uninteresting. Accordingly, in every fight than the other challengers. And every time he came out, he gave his best.
Look at my face. I look pretty in the... And that's what technique gets you right there.
Never has Demetrious Johnson...
He said that's what technique gets you right there. Nah, he was talking crazy. I think if he would have been more talkative, like a Connor or, you know, other fighters, bro, he probably would have been liked more, because Dana like people who will make him money. I mean, when you just beat people up, that's like Anderson Silva. Some people love Anderson Silva, but some fights, man,
given the impression that he was going to slow down. As for awards, there was no shortage there either. Mighty was awarded both the knockout of the night against Benavidez in the second fight and the submission and the impression that he was going to slow down. As for awards, there was no shortage there either. Mighty was awarded both the knockout of the night against Benavidez in the second fight and the submission of the year successful title defense. As if that wasn't enough, with the victory over Borg, he also broke his record for the most consecutive title defenses, with various awards collected with each performance. Whatever MMA award you could imagine, Mighty Mouse won it.
Who's the greatest fighter you ever saw? Man, your opinion on
it's hard to say, but it might have been Mighty Mouse. Because when Mighty Mouse was in his prime, he was so magnificent. He was so fast, and he was doing things that you couldn't believe how he could do. He hit a dude with a suplex and caught him with an armbar on the way down.
But on August 4th,
damn, Joe said it might be Mighty Mouse? Woo! That's tough, bro. Y'all think it's Mighty Mouse?
2018, things got out of control and went in a completely different direction. Demetrious faced Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo for the second time in an attempt to make his 12th title defense, the championship streak with a split decision. The decision was controversial for all true Johnson fans, but statistically speaking, Cejudo was one step ahead of Mighty. Henry was better in the wrestling and grappling, with more time control and clinch strikes. Demetrious won the battle on the feet as the slightly better striker, but his wrestling was partially neutralized by the Olympic wrestler.
The first guy to win an Olympic gold medal in wrestling and a UFC championship.
Yeah, no, for sure. I beat the greatest of all time, and then on top of that, I can make the run for, you know, who's the greatest combat athlete of all time.
Yeah.
I'm a 2-sport world champion.
No, bro, come on, bro. Henry Cejudo, I love you to death, gang. I love you, Henry Cejudo. Just because you beat Mighty Mouse doesn't mean you know. Stop it. Mighty Mouse had 12 title defenses, bro. You came and won the championship. Stop it.
I'm just like,
yeah,
damn, that's
crazy. Even after looking at the stats, some are still sure that Demetrious should have won. Only the eternal speculations of the MMA community remain, and the flyweight king resigned himself to defeat like a true champion and accepted it without excuses.
It is what it is. It could have gone anyway. Like I said, you know, whether I won this fight or I lost it, I'm gonna go back home, do what I usually do, go home, spend time with my family, play some video games, get back in the gym, keep on learning.
But losing the fight was not the worst thing that happened. Realistically, if the match with Cejudo had been made a couple years ago, it is very likely that Mighty would have come out victorious. But the UFC promotion wanted something else. Due to Johnson's boring defenses for many years, the UFC needed a new flyweight star, or they were gonna shut down the entire division. The whole problem with the need to promote the flyweight division appeared during Conor's reign. So that was probably reason enough for the need for the barking superstars in the role of champion. The owners and directors of the promotion received ideas that Demetrious did not want to implement, even at the cost of dismissal. Henry Cejudo enters the story as the main villain with the new cringe persona that is classified as a good thing for advertising. He seemed like the right person to take over the throne of the division, but also the marketing obligations and a lot of public attention, which he eventually succeeded in doing.
After I beat him, I came back to Las Vegas to meet with Dana White, because Dana White actually wanted to meet with me. He says, you know, jump in my Ferrari. I jumped in his Ferrari, and then he told me in the car, he's like, hey, just want to let you know that I'm going to get rid of the 125-pound weight division. But this is the cool thing, champ, is you'll have your shot at 135 pounds, and you'll be the last flyweight champion. But that always kind of sat wrong with me.
In one conversation, when asked about the top 5 fighters in the UFC, Dana White listed those who brought him the most money, while Demetrious remained unmentioned and was also classified as an uninteresting fighter, which is absurd.
John Jones, Anderson Silva, Ronda Rousey, Congress. That's my top 5. That's my top 5. He just listed my whole top 5 except for Ronda Rousey. I got hell no Ronda Rousey. Mine is John Jones, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Conor McGregor, DC. I would take DC out. I would take DC out for Adesanya or Max Holloway, but I can't. But mine is John Jones, Adesanya, GSP, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, Adesanya, or DC. But this is a good list, Dana. It's a good list.
Considering his activity and the attractive pace that he brought for years. To spice things up, they wanted TJ Dillashaw to jump the queue and get a shot at the title, which was of no interest to Johnson as he wanted to defend the belt against someone who deserved it. If he had to agree, Mighty had his conditions, though it was evident that he wasn't going to get what he wanted. Demetrious Johnson wanted more money for that super fight, even though he knew Dillashaw wouldn't be able to make the weight. What TJ later proved when he moved down to his flyweight in 2019. His weight cut looked like a near-death experience, and his test showed that he was positive for erythropoietin.
You know, Sean Shelby, he called me and says, hey, I want you to fight Tito Dillashaw. I was like, okay, pay me $1 million. We'll make it happen.
You gonna fight TJ?
Yeah, we'll make it happen. And I said, man, just give me $1 million. He goes, I can't give you what you don't bring in. I was like, okay, fair enough. Okay, I understand that. And then Matt said, okay, well, we'll fight TJ if TJ doesn't make weight, which we knew he could not make 125. If he doesn't make 125, we fight for his belt. They're like, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, then what's I have no leverage here.
Right.
Like what's
in it for you?
What's in it for me? Like same pay, no more money. What's in it for me? And they're like, well, you know, we're just gonna close the division. Like, close the motherfucking division.
As for the higher salary, we don't need to tell you how that sat with Dana White.
He wants to take super fights, but he also wants to get paid. At least he said previously a couple of million, so at least a pay raise. Are you willing to give him that?
No, but you know what? He's a partner in the pay-per-view. Let's see what your pay-per-view does. Listen, you can't be in a position where you're like, I want $2 million. I don't care what you make.
Johnson had.
But my thing is, if he got all the belts, bro, like he got all the belts. Like he was defending his champ 11 times in a row. Like that gotta be count for something. Like.
More than an impressive career. He never even came out of a fight bloody. He was clean of prohibited substances for years. He was a real role model of a human being and a fighter. If we were able to list his praises, we would need many more words, and this video would turn into a movie. We are all aware of who Demetrious is, and it's foolish to talk more about it. But all that wasn't enough for the UFC.
Dana did not like that.
Just have to pay you.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Yeah.
That's what you want.
That's what I want. I've been very clear from the very beginning, Ariel.
The fact that Demetrious Johnson was not the biggest star in sports is one of the UFC's greatest injustices. He wasn't advertised nearly as much as he should have been. Not even close. Demetrious Johnson didn't want to be the new Conor McGregor, and the UFC needed a new face for the headlines. At that moment, Mighty lost all desire to perform in the UFC. Fortunately for Johnson, shortly after the defeat, a transfer contract to one championship arrived. The whip of disrespect hit Demetrious Johnson's back when the public found out that the one championship fighter, Ben Askren, was participating in the transfer. The man that has been in a verbal war.
Nigga traded Demetrious Johnson for Ben Askren?
Or with Dana White for many years.
For me, the biggest benefit is not having to work for Dana White. That guy's a freaking scumbag. I don't know that I can see myself working for him. He's just a terrible person all around.
I can just tell from the comments that were made that Ben Askren just isn't one of those kind of guys. The reason he went to ONE FC is because he heard that I wanted him to go to World Series of Fighting. I don't give a where he goes.
The president literally traded away one of his greatest fighters to bring in someone that he didn't even like. But Mighty, being classy as always, did not despair. He had been through too much in his life to be discouraged by this. With performances in the new promotion in the following years, he showed his greatness. But most importantly, Johnson showed that he is independent and bigger than the UFC. Another quality thing that came out of all of this scheming was the unification of Henry and Demetrious as training partners and friends. The two began to improve each other in training because iron truly sharpens the iron. This tells a story about the incredible control of Demetrious's ego when he accepted his partner, the man who caused him to lose his throne and leave the promotion. Mighty proved that he could turn even the worst situation into something more positive. After 2018, with the support of each other, the two little guys achieved incredible results. Henry Cejudo finished 3 top bantamweights with TKOs, including Dominic Cruz, Marlon Moraes, and TJ Dillashaw. He became the double champion, and his opponent opponents had to, as Triple C says, bend the knee. Our hero, on the other hand, wreaked havoc in one championship. Apparently, the Asian climate didn't bother him one bit. Demetrious Johnson won the Flyweight Grand Prix tournament, where the prize was the Flyweight title. Luck was on his side, and he finally got his payday. Demetrious Johnson participated in the first ever hybrid fight against one Muay Thai fighter, Rod Tang. And Rod Tang, who had never been put to sleep before, was separated from consciousness for the first time. And that honor went to Mighty Mouse and his magical rear naked choke.
I remember him coming across the cage, just like, and I was like, he don't give two. Cracked him, and he didn't move. He kept on coming. I was like, I can't knock you out. I'm not gonna keep on trying. You take all those shots.
That nigga was in there taking shots to the head. Man, shit don't hurt me, Mighty. We got a brick head. Bro, what? That nigga head made out of bricks.
Just like, and I was like, he don't give two. Cracked him, and he didn't move. He kept on coming. I was like, I can't knock you out. I'm not gonna keep on trying. You take all those shots. I'm like, second round, I'm gonna choke you out. I was like,
However, Demetrious Johnson was knocked out for the first time in one championship. With
crazy.
A brutal knee, Adriano Moraes finished Demetrious in the second round. Knees to a grounded opponent are not allowed in the UFC, but one championship has a different rule set. It's very possible that Mighty forgot the rulebook and took an unexpected hit, but the beauty of his defeat was reflected in Demetrious Johnson's comeback. Mighty, being Mighty, not only won the rematch, was reflected in Demetrious Johnson's comeback. Mighty, being Mighty, not only won the rematch, but avenged his defeat with an attractive flying knee and regained his flyweight title. Adriano had a beautiful knockout, but Demetrious showed that he could do it so much better.
When you knocked dude out with that flying knee.
It was a rematch.
And he hit you with a knee, right?
Yep.
And I knew it right there. I saw you wanted to get him back the same way.
Different rules of one championship, right? You can knee a grounded opponent. And when I moved and I hit him with that right hand, and he was backwards, I was like, oh, I know what this is.
As the icing on the cake and the end of his
I know what this is.
As the icing on the cake and the end of his career, in 2023, Demetrious once again faced Moraes in their trilogy, where he won with the judge's decision. 1 year later, Johnson spoke after the 168 event in Denver to share both sad and happy news.
It's been a long journey. Thank you to all of my teammates. Matt. Thank you to Matt.
Damn, you retired.
Thank you to my wife. Thank you to my children, my mother-in-law, father-in-law. You guys have made me a better person. I am done competing. You guys have made me a better person. I am done competing in mixed martial arts. And I want to say thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity. Appreciate you guys.
He may not have left his gloves in the middle of the UFC octagon like he should have, but that's where he laid down the one championship belt to call it a day. Big news spreads quickly around the world, and as the MMA community celebrates his career and well-deserved retirement, Dana White chimes in, as contradictory as ever.
When he was here, I was defending him from the fans, you know? So who's defended Demetrious Johnson more than me? You know, incredible career he had, and I've never had a problem with Demetrious Johnson.
Do we see him in the UFC Hall of Fame at some point?
Absolutely.
Dana's
first ballot, but you are lying. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer, by the way. But this nigga lying. Dana White, boy, you be lying, boy.
Stated that it was the fans' fault for not giving Demetrious the love that he deserved. After leaving the promotion, Mighty opened a Pandora's box of allegations against the UFC and their mistreatment. It's hard to think that Mighty was too demanding and rude. The man just wanted what
he said, too demanding and rude. But I mean,
Dana
Dana
like
is kind of right,
tensions,
though.
and he didn't like arguing,
y'all
but
love,
he knew his...
Y'all love Demetrious so much, so why didn't y'all support him in his fights? Like, everybody come out, why you doing Demetrious like that, but y'all won't support him, so I can't give him more money because y'all not supporting him and showing up watching his pay-per-views. So it's kind of like, Dana is kind of right.
The life of a fighter was extra difficult, and eternal negotiations about payment were completely unnecessary. On the other hand, the business talks with Chatri went according to his taste. Both were agreeable, and the president knew what kind of star he had at his disposal and aimed to respect him. Imagine having the greatest of all time on your roster and not giving him the respect he deserves.
Well, one championship had to. That's probably the best fighter they had. you know what I'm saying, most popular fighter they had, so they probably, you know.
Although in
UFC
most
got
cases, the
everybody, so they don't
departure
really
of
give a
fighters from the UFC to another promotion results in a career decline. Mighty kept working at the pace and success that he's been used to for years. Demetrious has continued to do what he did best and repeatedly proved it, even on the other side of the world.
Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate you guys. Everybody, all my peers in
Damn,
mixed
Hall
martial
of Fame?
arts,
And
all
that-
the fighters
and they
who
got Hall of
show
Fame
me
in
nothing
2
but
leagues.
respect. It's right back to you guys. Truly appreciate you guys. Thank you to One Championship. Thank you to everybody around the world. Thank you to my wife, my family, my dad, father-in-law, everybody. Love you guys. Mighty's out. Oh, they wanted me to leave the belt in here. I ain't doing that. I came into this sport as a champ. I'm leaving my as a champ too. Oos!
What you talking about? Nigga, I ain't leaving no belt, no ring. Nigga, my belt. Fuck are you talking about, man? Shout out to Mighty Bout.
Love you guys. Mighty's out. Oh, they wanted me to leave the belt in here. I ain't doing that. I came into this sport as a champ. I'm leaving my as a champ too. Oos!
If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a sub to the
That's
channel.
real.
And
That's real. You came in at the champ. You leave as the champ, Mighty Mouse. Let me know in the comments who your top 5. I gave y'all my top 5 in the middle of the video. If you didn't catch it, nigga, go back and watch that. I gave y'all my top 5. Let me know your top 5. And don't be in my comments mad at my top 5. It's my top 5. But I'm gonna see y'all next one, man. Y'all already know. Do like, comment, subscribe.